associated that the reason why we were angry and the sole reason why we was angry was because of the killing of George Floyd. George Floyd in that moment was like the thing that broke the bucket's bottom.
A year after the murder of George Floyd saw thousands hit the street in Calgary demanding police accountability. One activist is taking her fight from the street to a seat on the Calgary Police Service's Anti-Racism Committee. Shu Porter says that even though the fight may have gone behind closed doors, she's as committed as ever to sparking change.
So I was very adamant to make sure that the narrative wasn't just talking about what is happening to our brothers and sisters in America with George Floyd, with Breonna Taylor, with Ahmaud Arbery, and the hundreds of thousands other Black lives that has been robbed from us, but to really be able to turn the spotlight on what's happening in our city first and foremost. A lot of the things that happens to our people go undetected, unnoticed, unheard of because it's not being captured on video.
I'm not promising you that oppression will stop, but I'm telling you, we're gonna make oppression inconvenient.
In response to the racial awakening, the Alberta government formally banned carding and regulated street checks. Calgary's police chief admitted there was systemic racism in policing and made eliminating it a key priority. The force set up an anti-racism committee, which Porter was chosen to sit on.
It's too early to tell because we know, like I said, this is not a linear process. And for those who expected it to be, that within the 4 months of the community, the committee being formed, we're going to see overall change. You are setting up yourself for failure.
However, she has been impressed with the leadership on the board so far.
To hear someone that is not Black, without being prompted, without being told, say, I understand that a lot of these things that happens is covered by the law. It's covered and normalized through our training, but not because that is the case that makes it right. And that's why we want you to be a part of this conversation. Leadership does determine the level in which something will be pushed, but it doesn't mean that the people who are getting directive won't push back. Step one is verbal commitment. Step two is setting up the structure to hold those verbal commitment to tasks. But step three, the hardest part, is to actually do what they're supposed to do.
Porter isn't afraid to rock the boat to get her message heard. She organized a rally outside the Calgary School Board as education, like the justice system, is rife with anti-Blackness, and called out City Council at their own public hearing into anti-racism.
This cannot happen in 3 days. This now becomes a formality. What you're doing right now is a check in your box that you did it. And that is performative.
Porter says for many it won't be until that final step that they feel supported. And until that happens, it's on all of us to make a difference.
And we want people who want to be comrades. We don't need just allies. We need comrades to use their privilege and their resources to get behind actually making change.
In Calgary, Tara Overholt, City News.